This is Race for the Roster. Today, we debut our form tracker and reignite a key battle in the starting 11. We are less than a year away from the 2026 World Cup, and Stephen Caldwell is back alongside me, trying to predict Canada's 26-man roster and the near impossible task of trying to predict Canada's 11 for the opening game. The big highlight from last week, Ismail Kone dropped from the starting 11 to the bench, with Nico Segur taking his spot alongside Stefan Eustáquio, moving to midfield from right back after a strong Gold Cup. Let's check out this week's headlines and see if there's any new changes to make. Jonathan David finally got his big move, signing with Juventus on a free transfer. He's expected to play a key role for the Italian Giants as they look to improve on a disappointing fourth-place finish in Serie A last season. Plenty of Canadians returned to action this past week following the Gold Cup. Tani Oluwaseyi and Dane St. Clair both got the start for Minnesota, with Dane St. Clair making 4 saves in the win over Dallas. While Max Crepeau got the start in his return for Portland, making 3 saves in the win. He's now made 7 straight league starts when available for the Timbers, after just 1 start over the first 3 months of the season. Which brings us to the debut of our form tracker, where we, as the name suggests, track the form of Canadian players all season. Dane St. Clair is still the best in form in goal, but Max Crepeau is closing the gap. Both well ahead of the rest of the field, Stevie. I mean, this battle, it's so intriguing, isn't it, how it's going to go for us. Does Max Crepeau re-establishing himself now as Portland Timbers #1 change anything in your mindset now with what's happened over the last month?
The gap is closing, Kev. I want to be clear, I've still got Dane St. Clair in that #1 position, but because of his unconvincing performances at the Gold Cup and the fact that Max Crepeau is back in some decent club form, I feel like the gap is a little bit tighter than maybe it was a month ago. Yeah. Both these guys are very close. There's not a lot between them, and I think Jesse Marsch is still uncertain completely about who he sees as his #1. So club form is vitally important. When they get the nod and they're playing for the national team in the friendlies leading up to the World Cup, they've got to do well. And ultimately, this is a battle that we've expected to roll along, and we're still seeing that. And I think it might even go to weeks, maybe even days before that first game to be sure who Jesse Marsch is going to select. It's a great battle, and both these guys are up for the fight, but they've got to keep showing good club form and in the best form they can in the national jersey. No, I get the form. We're still going to be chatting around this weeks before that opening game for Canada next summer. So, Stevie, your starting 11 remains the same, with Dane St. Clair staying in goal ahead of Max Crepeau. With no major headlines from the wider squad, the boys in the bubble stay the same as well. Some key players to watch this week. Jayden Nelson and the Whitecaps look to book their ticket to the Canadian Championship semi-final Wednesday. Richie Laryea could make his first start for TFC since March, when the Reds take on Atlanta. That's live on TSN Saturday. While also on Saturday, Jacob Schaffelberg and Nashville take on Messi and Inter Miami. And that's it for this week's Race for the Roster. Check back in next Monday to see if anyone can force a change to Stevie Caldwell's 26-man squad.